and pull it out further too. That would have helped a lot. Welcome back to another episode of Automotive Insight. Today's repair is a 2006 Dodge Charger with a 5.7 liter. Customer states that the vehicle wouldn't start. And he also said that the ignition switch just doesn't feel the same as it was. So let's check it out. So we try to start it. There's no tension on the key. You know, you have your 4 positions and it's just all smooth from lock to lock. Nothing on the dash light, nothing on the dash comes on and the car doesn't start. And also, even with the key out, it constantly beeps. So I think there's an issue with the ignition switch. Let's tear it apart and check it out. So we disconnected the battery. That way we can save our sanity because it was constantly beeping. So we got to get this panel off, got to get the instrument cluster cover off. But the first thing is to get this, you can pull this little plastic cover here to get access to some screws. They just got 2 little clips. There's a Phillips head screwdriver right here. Sorry, a Phillips head screw. I'm using the screwdriver. So on the bottom of the panel is 2 more screws. There's one there and one right there. Ours are missing, so they're probably a Phillips head screw also. Next, we're going to pull the panel off. There's a couple clips holding it on. We're going to disconnect our trunk switch and the hood release. The clips on this one are broken, but I'll pull the cable back, and that way we can disconnect it from the handle. We're going to remove this metal panel here. It's 4 10mm screws. So removing the instrument cluster bezel, there's 3 screws. There's one here and 2 like right below the headlight switch. Okay, we're going to work on the side with the switch. This pops out, and then we're going to work it around the steering wheel, and then disconnect our headlight switch also. As that pops out. If you haven't done it already, you can move your steering wheel down to help make some more clearance and pull it out further too. That would have helped a lot. Okay, next we're going to unbolt the ignition switch. There are 3 8mm nuts, 2 in the front, and then right here is a hidden one. Okay, so we can sort of push the ignition switch in. Then we're just going to take it out through here. Now there's still some connectors and a cable attached to it. All right, so next we're going to remove the ignition switch. It is a T10 Torx. There's 2 push tabs on the side to be able to release this from the housing, to release the ignition switch from the housing. All And so here is the issue. This is part of it. This was on the end of that. That goes into the ignition switch and is what turns it. Basically, with it broken off, it can't reach that anymore. So this little midsection here is replaceable, and that's what we have to do. We need to get the housing out of the vehicle. So the cable is going to stay in the car. I believe this is like anti-theft module or something. It's held on by another Phillips head screw. Okay. Next, there's two T10s to get the gear shift interlock off. And then with the cable removed, now we can just remove that little centerpiece. We have our new one. It is keyed. It's not centered, so it does go on. It only goes on one way. All right, we got our new piece back on. We'll just start putting things back together. We'll put our gear shift cable on, or our interlock cable on. We'll put the immobilizer module back on. Now we put the electronic part of the ignition switch back on. So the broken piece I found stuck in the ignition switch. I just used a pick. I got it out. Going back on with it, took a combination of using the key and pressing and pushing and getting the ignition switch to line up, and then it just snaps back into place. Before putting it back together, you can go ahead and try it. You can definitely hear it clicking this time, and I would connect the battery, but I'm not ready yet. So we'll reinstall the housing. All right, with our steering wheel in the correct position this time, this should go on a lot easier. Reconnect our headlight switch. Put our metal plate back on. Next we'll put our lower panel on. What I do with the hood release cable, I'll pull it out and get some needle nose pliers. Just keep enough tension on it. Don't crimp it. And then that black part usually snaps in there, but my clips are broken and it works just fine. And we'll plug in our trunk switch and put the panel back on. That bottom corner goes behind that. The bottom corner of this goes behind this panel. It can go back on outside of it, but it fits better. And then this you can just pop that back in as the last piece. I kept calling it the hood release. It's the parking brake release cable. All right, see if it fires up. All right, well, that's going to wrap this up. There wasn't really a whole lot of diag. It's just, the ignition switch felt different. So why not just go ahead and take it apart? And that's where we found what was broken. That part cost about $50 to $60, and this whole process could take you about an hour. So anyway, that's going to wrap this up. I may not have all your answers. Hopefully I had some. That being said, see you on the next one.
I'll pick you up at 8. You probably won't be awake. Call yourself an Uber, babe. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Centered, so it does go on. It only goes on one way.
You're doing your best Eminem impression.
What?
It goes on. It's kind of long, but it goes on. That's why I wrote the song. I'm in a Dodge.
Or did I forget a screw?